Greetings, Sanbonani Hi, Orange Nation. My name is Lelo, and I am your host for this special edition of In Conversation, where we will be getting to know our amazing staff members within the various departments within our institution. So today joining us is Dr. Keegan Anderson, who is a lecturer in the Mathematics and Applied Mathematics department. Dr. Keegan, how are you, sir?
I'm doing all right, thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us here on In Conversation. And I would like to start off by asking you to tell us more about yourself as well as your area of expertise in our institution.
Well, as you have already introduced, I'm a lecturer in the Department of Mathematics and Applied Mathematics. My expertise I'm transitioning into what is called scientific computing. So it's the intersection between applied mathematics and computers, so using computers to solve mathematical problems, because there's a lot of complex problems in this world, and the mathematical models are either not solvable in the way that we were taught in high school, and so we often resort to what we call computer simulation and numerical solutions, and that way we can study these models without building prototypes or physical experiments or anything like that, and will give us insight into the real world and phenomena which is happening in the real world.
Okay, interesting. And I see that you joined the institution as a student. So I would like to know, and I'm sure our audience would also like to know, how has your journey with our institution been, and how long have you been here, and all of that?
Right. So I often make the joke that I'm part of the furniture nowadays, but I'm realizing that's becoming more the truth than the joke, because
Yeah.
I joined the University of Johannesburg in 2005 as a first-year student. Back then I originally applied for the Randse Afrikaanse University because I'm Afrikaans speaking, so I went to primary school, high school in Afrikaans, and RAU was the Afrikaans University, and it was also sort of the closest and most affordable for me, coming from a poor background as well. So I applied, became a first year in 2001, so now I can proudly say I was part of the first cohort of the University of Johannesburg. As to the journey itself, just thinking about it, it's been filled with so many things. If you think about 20 years, being a student and then becoming a postgraduate student at the university and then becoming a lecturer or staff member, man, there's so many, I would say so many stories that I could share, but I don't think some of them would be very PC or would be very correct to share, because I'll say at least when I was a student life back then was a lot different than it is nowadays. So we experienced a lot, if I can call it that way, not just academically, but also socially. We learned a lot growing as people. In terms of my journey here as a staff member, I started in 2013 as a lecturer in the department, and the best way I can describe it is that it's been a journey of growth. There is so many things that I've learned and forgotten and then learned again over the years, but it fits with more or less who I am as well. I have this deep love of learning things. I'm very curious about lots of things. So I would say it's a case of serendipity, me ending up in academia like this.
Interesting. So what has been the most significant change that you can just get from the top of your head right now since you've been here?
For the institution itself, I would definitely say the access. And by access, I mean access to education, access to resources. It warms my heart to be able to see so many students on our campuses willing to learn and having that passion and being here to try and improve their lives. That for me has been the best. I can think back to when I was an undergraduate student. The campuses comparatively were sparse, if I can call it that way. There weren't a lot of students. Not everyone could afford it and stuff. So I'm just very, very happy that in the last 20 years, things have changed in such a way that we're able to provide this opportunity for education and a better life to so many more students than what was there 20 years ago.
Yeah. May you please also share your fondest memory since you've been here? Like, what's that one thing that sticks out?
The one thing for me, I would say, which sticks out is probably my PhD graduation. I was a bit in tears the whole graduation through, because that was one of the things, my only graduation ceremony my mother couldn't attend. She passed away while I was doing my PhD. And, you know, I always think back on that fondly, because for her it was such a big thing for me to get my education. She always told me, and this is a motto I live by now, it's saying they can take everything away from you except your education. And so I always look back on that fondly, you know, being able to go on that stage, you know, they tell off what you've done, give a summary of your research and stuff, and always I see it now, I attend graduation ceremonies now as well. Like when you hear PhD, people are like, oh, immediately. But also I think they respect that people have done this as well. So I would definitely say graduation ceremony would be top of my mind.
May her soul rest in eternal peace, and we are very grateful that she gave birth to such a phenomenal human being who is a part of the institution and who is reimagining futures within the institution. So last but not least, Doctor, may you please tell us one thing that you think our audience should know about yourself or about the institution, either or.
I will say something about myself while I think about saying something for the institution as well. One thing about myself is people often hear applied mathematics or mathematics, and then they get into this cliched mode of like, oh, bookworm, very smart and all that stuff. But I think most people would be surprised to find out that I'm also actually a very active person. I do park runs, I have a motorcycle which I go drive from time to time. I do boxing, fitness, exercise. I have a few injuries from that as well. So I mentioned this to say also and spread the message that mathematics is not just, it's exclusive in terms of brain smarts and stuff. Anyone can do mathematics. It's more about recognizing patterns, thinking logically, and problem solving. But yeah, I try to buck the cliches as well by doing other stuff too. One thing about the institution I think a lot of people might not know is the level of expertise and the people that are in here, both young and old. I often have conversations with old professors who came through the old system, if I can call it that way, sharing their knowledge and everything they've learned. And the influx of the new people, I'm not surprised that we are one of the leading universities in the world. If I just look at my colleagues, who I have the utmost respect for, they inspire me to want to do better in my own research and also be a better person to my students as well.
Thank you for joining us. 20 years of innovation, inspiration, and education. Now that is our institution. Please do not forget to comment, like, and subscribe. And thank you for watching. I am Lelo.